Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is What's Good About Grief podcast, where we talk real, raw emotions, good, bad, and ugly. I'm April, and I'm back with Debbie and Sharon. Last week, we talked about the tragic loss of Debbie's husband and son and Sharon's son. This week, we will be talking about relationship status, relationships and how they change after tragedy and loss happens. So I've noticed, obviously, Debbie, since I've been friends with you the longest, or I've known you the longest, I had noticed so many different people kind of coming out of the woodwork, people I'd never seen before, all of a sudden they're your best friends.
Yes.
And Sharon, did you kind of have the same
Definitely.
experience?
Same thing, yes.
Yeah. Were these people that you knew or just acquaintances, or can you tell me a little bit more about your experience with that?
As far as that, most people I might have known from the past, but they were not my best friends. But then I would talk to other friends that would tell me, oh, they always wanted to share the story, my tragic story about our family and what happened. And so it was very frustrating.
So would you just hear about this from other people, or, did you have people, calling you or showing up at your door?
Yes, I would have all of that to answer your question. When the event first happened, I just wanted to be left alone. I've always been a person that liked people all around me, a lot like John Michael, and I just wanted to be left alone. And people were coming in and out of my house, not even knocking, just walking in the house. So
Wow.
So I find myself walking up the steps and just closing the door and locking it. And probably, I know I offended some people, but I think on their part, as I've gone through this longer, I'm realizing they don't know what to do with this, especially something like this. They want to do what they think is helpful, and it's not necessarily helpful. And a lot of them found out, I guess it was through Facebook, and also we were on the news. So, a lot found out that way as well. So, anyway, so that's how I felt.
And Debbie, I experienced it with
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
And not only did it happen to you, but I noticed that it happened to your daughter
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
People from school who she wasn't really friends with, all of a sudden want to be her best friend. And, there were people all around all the time. And it's almost this really strange, like attraction to tragedy.
Yes. Attraction to trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted to be part of it. And I was like, to me, it felt like I don't wish this on anybody. Why would you want this? It's twisted and it's sick and it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I, on the other hand, I do understand that people want to be able to do something for you because my situation was horrific, and I don't know how often that happens, that you
Right.
lose two people at the same time. And it, like Sharon, we were on the news and in several states and all the newspapers, and and on one hand, you feel like it's good that people want to come together and do something for you, but then on the other hand, it becomes this weird, twisted thing where I had people following me. I had to get cameras at my house. When I did go back to the gym, because that's what I needed, I had people that wanted to be in my classes that were following me home. Just very strange behavior. Like, why do you want to be so part of this? It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And I want to be, like Sharon, I wanted to be left alone. And everyone's like, you can't be alone. You can't. That's what I want. That's how. I don't want people in my face all day. And I used to have my garage door open, and then I closed it, and then people were trying to get in the front door all the time. And the other thing that was really weird, it was like they would look up what I was into. Like, I love Rick Springfield, and and people were like, "Oh, we're gonna take you to a Rick Springfield." That's something I did with my husband. I don't want to do it with you, and I understand you want to be sweet about it, but no. And just looking at, I guess, diving into my background on Facebook, and it was like, "Oh, Debbie likes this," or "Oh, Debbie likes that," and then all of a sudden they know me the best, and just
Yeah.
weird.
They've known you the longest. They've known you the
Yes.
best.
Uh-huh.
They have the most details
Yes.
about your life.
Yes.
And because almost the same thing happened to me, after my mom passed away. I was young. I was 14, and I'd be walking the halls and random people, "Oh my gosh, April, how are you? Are you okay?" And it was like, I don't even know your name. So you've never spoken to me before, so why now? And so you would like to give people the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, they're just trying to be nice. They're just trying to be sweet. But at what point are they overstepping?
Right. Yes. Yes. And that made me feel bad. Like I was being a rotten person by having these thoughts about it, because maybe they were being genuine. And there was definitely people that are genuine.
Right.
But then when it got crossed the line, like, "Oh, what happened? Tell me details. Tell me this. Tell me that. Tell me. And like I'd be in the grocery store and I would see people talking about me. I'm like, "I'm right here. I can hear you.
Oh
I
my
can hear you. You're
gosh.
staring at me." And then there's people pointing, and it was like I didn't want to go anywhere. It was horrible.
Yeah, that is. That is hard. I mean, you're already dealing with something so tragic.
Yeah.
And to have to deal with watching people talk about you is
Yes.
horrific.
Yeah. Probably like the same when you were in school. Like, "Oh, April's mom died."
Yeah. The whispering and the.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about people with the details.
Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh.
how so many times I would say, I don't want to talk about it. And they would continue to say, well, what happened? What happened? I don't want to talk about it. What happened? What happened? I don't want to talk about it. So it was very, very frustrating to me, because you had said something earlier about a lot of times it's just people are drawn to sadness, and think about it on the news when there's terrible things that happen. People, for some reason, it's a story they want to know about and
Be part of. And
Be part of.
right.
Yeah.
So that was very frustrating to me as well. And I would see people give me, I call them the sad mother lost her child eyes. And I've made this statement before. If I was at the grocery store and damn if you talk to me and damn if you don't. Because I could see people avoiding me, or they would come up very nervously and try to talk to me and see how I was doing. And most of the time I wasn't doing good, or I'd get panic attacks just going to the grocery store, hoping I wouldn't run into somebody. I went into this art store and I was going to take art classes, something different that I hadn't done. I like to draw and stuff, but thought I would get all my supplies and do that. And I had my niece with me, and I ran into this lady that obviously didn't watch the news or anything, and maybe not on Facebook, I don't know. And she asked me about each of my kids, how they're doing. And when she got to John Michael, I must have had the look of horror. I was panicked. And I said to her, "You didn't hear?" And she said, "No, what? And I said, I think I used the words, I didn't want to say killed or passed. I think I said, he's not here any longer, because I was panicking what to say. And she asked, I guess, a normal question, what happened? And I said it was he was hiking, it was an accident. And then she kept asking me details. And tears are rolling down my face, and I said I didn't want to talk about it. And she kept at me, and she kept at me. And my niece was with me and grabbed my arm, and so we went to the car, and I just sobbed. I just literally walked away from the lady, because that's all I need to do. And that's not me, but that's all I could think of.
Yeah. I yelled at someone, told them to Google it once because they kept asking. I was like, just Google it.
Wow. Yeah.
And it can't, like, I didn't want to be that person, but like I've asked you and I've told you, I don't, some people want to talk about it and they're okay with it, and that's fine. that's not what I wanted.
Right.
Like, that's where like the relationships start getting really weird because
Yes.
you're disrespected and you have to pull back and do whatever you have to do because we're just trying to survive over here. Like,
Right.
we're just trying to survive. And I'm trying to be gracious to you, but you're completely disregarding. I'm sure I look like a mess, you know, I'm sure, and I'm crying and I'm telling you, I don't want to talk about it. Don't ask me 12 different ways what happened.
Right. Well, and you're absolutely right when you talk about like you're in survival mode.
Yes.
And that's going to be like your new normal for a very long time.
Right.
And nobody, like, unless you've actually had a tragedy that has happened to you, you don't understand.
Right.
I actually had this conversation with somebody once, and we talked about how different people who have experienced the loss are as opposed to people who have never experienced loss ever.
Absolutely.
And it's such a different perspective on life. It's a different perspective on just everything. Everything is so different. It's very interesting how this completely changes you and your relationships with people. You know, I could still break down and cry, and you know, it's been, you know, I guess 30 something years for me since my mom has passed, and I'll see a picture or something and just start crying. But if you've never had that experience of loss before, you're like, what's wrong with you? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you guys have had some new best friends that you didn't know you had. Do you feel like those people just maybe also want to kind of feel important?
Yes, I think so. Or, you know, maybe some are really genuine and they are the type of people that want to fix people or help them. But, you know, so I can't sit there and say they're not genuine. I don't know, because I think sometimes people do things so that they get satisfied that they're doing something right. Sometimes people do things because I think God makes us like that, to have compassion for other people. I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's a difference, but then there's definitely the disingenuous. I want to be part of this, you know. So almost like they want to be part of the victim mentality, like, oh, that was my friend, and
Yeah.
kind of thing. I've had that told to me by several of the, you know, the people that I am close with, that they've experienced some other person acting like, you know, they know me the best, and it's just,
Yeah.
you've experienced it, April.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that people want to, again, I just have to go back to like that feeling of importance of like, oh, I was there when.
Yes.
So it's almost this, yeah, I guess that's the best way I can describe it, is feeling important.
I was also going to say, I think also people can go in the other direction, where they'll avoid you when you guys were really close friends because they don't know what to do. And they're the ones you thought would be there all along. And you know that you have been there for them. It might not be the exact same thing. And that was really hard to swallow, to see people. And actually, I had someone that kind of broke off the friendship because it was too much for them. You can't believe that's happening, but it does happen. And then I think we fight feeling guilty, and I know Debbie understands this, where you think, okay, I'm a Christian. I know where John Michael's going to be, and I'm going to get to see him again. And that's what I believe, and that's what keeps me going. But even though I feel like that, I carried him for 9 months, and, you know, that was my child. And anyway, so that's just how I feel sometimes.
Well, yeah. So tell me about that. You know, you had a good friend that just walked away from you, and
Yeah, I would say not a good friend.
well, yeah, obviously.
Well, you saw it was a
You
good
thought
friend.
it was a good friend.
Yeah, I was
No
I was
longer.
actually there. They didn't have a lot of friends, and I'm not going to tell you who you are if you're listening to the podcast. We're definitely not friends anymore. But anyways, in all seriousness, they didn't have any friends, and it was somebody I knew years ago, and I was always there for them. They fought depression, actually, and apparently they didn't want to be friends anymore, and told me like maybe 6 months or something after I went through that with JM's loss, and I had no idea of the conversation because for a long time, and Debbie understands this when I say this, you're walking around, you're talking, and you don't remember things. People will tell me things I said or did, and I have no memory of it. But it felt awful. I was just so angry, like seriously. But it made me realize I'm not a perfect person, but I would never do that. And we talked about when Scott had cancer. I had several friends that lost their kids to cancer, and I was there for them and continue to stay there because that's just who I am. I just wouldn't have done that. So I think I couldn't believe that happened, but it did.
So why do you think that person had to break off your friendship? Or what was the excuse, I guess?
I want to say so many things, but I probably should.
If you had to guess what the excuse was, or
I think the reality that something like this could happen to them. Sometimes, and I hate to keep bringing up the cancer thing, but I saw that you can talk to a lot of moms that have kids that have gone through cancer treatment. They'll tell you other kids weren't allowed to play with their kids because they thought they were going to catch it. And it's not seriously, they told us this was going to happen at the hospital. And I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. But it does. And I can give you examples of a friend I have that her nephew wasn't allowed to play with her son because he had cancer. And, just as ridiculous as that sounds, I think that's why this happens, or people aren't used to. I've always been a pretty happy person, and they're not used to seeing me cry or be sad, which is exhausting. And Debbie and I talk about this all the time, where we're feeling like we have to be a certain way. It's exhausting. I mean, you're already exhausted.
Yeah, I would get people saying like, "Where's the old Debbie? Where's the old Debbie?" I'm like, "Are you serious?"
I hate that.
Like, my heart is completely ripped out. I'm trying to survive. I have to survive for my daughter. I'm just trying to, live each day and function. And you're asking me where the old Debbie is? Well, guess what? Like, part of you just dies. And I don't love that. I do miss a lot of my old self. And I do feel like there's parts that are coming back after all this time, but I will never be the same person. Mm-mm. And how hurtful is that too? Like, you're already in this absolute horror and they're like, "Oh, where's Debbie?" What? Like, like, what kind of person would I be if I just bounced back and I was all happy and jolly? "Oh yeah, my husband and my son just died and look at me, ha ha." Like, yeah. But it just makes you feel horrible. Like, you already feel horrible, and that just added to it. Thank you very much.
Right.
Go away from me.
And you're still trying to adjust to your new normal.
Yeah.
That's exactly new normal.
Yeah, this is your new normal, and you are never going to be the same. Not ever. And but I've known you for a long time, and I still don't feel like I've never felt, "Where's the old Debbie?" I've never felt that. I've never felt that way about you, or thought that ever. You know what I mean? Like, that was never a thought in my mind. Like, you're still you. Mm-hmm. But again, this is your new normal. So this isn't, I don't know. Are they wondering like, where's super fun Debbie? Or like, because I still think you're super fun and funny. You too, Sharon.
Yeah,
I was funnier. You didn't know me then.
I didn't know.
I think I'm still funny.
People can't deal with you're actually sad. Mm-hmm. And this one person in particular would call me and say, "Tell me something good, tell me something good, tell me something good." And on top of it, I was going through this other really, really horrible thing, which I really can't talk about. But on top of the loss, this other side of my life that was just terrible, I don't have a lot of good to say right now. Do I want to walk around and be complaining? No. But do not call me and keep asking me, "Tell me something good, tell me something good, tell me something good." Like, read the room, know the timing. Like, hopefully one day I'll have something good to say. And I want to be grateful for what I do have, left. But really, right now, not the right question. And when I'm telling you, not the right question. Don't tell me you've got to have one thing good to say. Okay, I'm done. Like I had to just stop.
Cut them off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like they view you differently. They judge you. They want,
Yeah,
and
so
they
it's- yeah, that, and I've
say they're walking on eggshells. Well, how do you think it feels in our life that, and I know you and I always say, Debbie and I always talk about this, but you're exhausted. I cannot tell you how many times I had to fake to be around certain friends that I was okay when I really wasn't feeling okay.
Yeah.
When I felt horrible and I didn't want to. And I know some of my close friends wanted to fix me, and I get it. I would have wanted to fix them too. And I think we've learned we just need someone to sit there and sit in the dirty ashes and just listen to us, or just sit there quietly and not even say anything and let us be who we are and let us figure this out, because every day is different. It doesn't matter how long you've been through this or how long your loss is.
Well, I think it's funny that you mentioned like people feel like they're walking on, eggshells around you. I feel like you guys are the eggshell. You're so fragile, and at any
Oh my gosh,
minute,
that's yes.
you're about to crack.
Yeah.
Like one person says one thing and you're about ready to crack, but they're worried.
Yes.
About-
And I've had that exact thing said to me. Sometimes I'm like, I absolutely don't want to be the person that you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around me, but at the same time, things that you're discussing or saying can, again, like this is such a big deal that I've had to learn to look outside myself and be like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. How does this happen to someone?
Yeah.
And you kind of live sometimes outside yourself looking in, and I don't know, it's like how you cope. So then when someone says that to you, it's just like, oh my gosh, not only am I experiencing this loss and I feel horrible and I'm trying to survive, but now I'm a shitty person too, and it's hard to be around me without walking on eggshells. Like, I feel like where's compassion? Like sometimes, can you understand maybe? I'm not asking to be validated over and over and over again, which sometimes you do want. Like you want to be validated that you're allowed to feel this horrible feeling of pain and agony. But now you're telling me walking around me, like you're walking around on eggshells. It's like, oh, great. So now I suck at that too.
Yeah, it makes
And
you
I'm
feel
making
like
life hard for you too.
makes you feel like you're a freak. You and I have talked about this many times. You're because you feel weird and displaced and
On display too.
on display, and you're supposed, especially as a Christian, you're supposed to, just be all happy and go God and all this stuff. And I struggled with my faith. I've never walked away, but I'll be honest with you, I struggled. And sometimes I still struggle when I think about things, because just because people have expectations of you. And that's actually why I got off all
Social
media, and I'm, free from that, because I was, people would tell me how I should be feeling, and, God needed them, which supposedly, I don't think I know that's not truth when they say that. And just, I don't know, just making me feel like like we said, like a loser, like a freak, like I'm not a good Christian, not a good example. I know that I have 2 other kids, Carol and Scott, I love so much, and now grandkids. And of course, I want to be there. And Debbie, I know you felt the same way. You just want to be there for your kids, and you don't want them to feel like, I don't know, because I was supposed to be the strong one. I'm their mom.
Yeah, and you're trying to be strong for them. Meanwhile, inside you're completely dying, and then that whole relationship is different because you're a grieving mom, and I'm a grieving mom and wife. But for my daughter, it's totally different. And so, yes, we're both grieving, but it's her father and her brother. So then my relationship with her was different because she doesn't understand my grief, and I don't understand her grief because I still have my dad and my father. And she brought that up a lot. And it was like, oh my gosh, how do I navigate this? Because now she's feeling weird around my dad and my brother because maybe whatever her feelings are that she lost that. So, and being a person without a child, it's probably very hard to imagine the loss of a child and what that feels like because you don't have a child. So you don't even know, or you have a child and you haven't lost a child. So anyway, every relationship is so different. You feel like a freak and it's just hard to navigate all of the things. And then that's when you go, I don't want to be around anybody because nobody knows the right thing to say and everybody wants to say something and you want to tell them all to screw off and you're trying to be gracious and a Christian. I think that's the other thing. Being a Christian prior, people have this expectation of you and you're just like, you know what? I'm pissed off at God right now. I really am. And if you say that out loud, oh my gosh, the repercussions of that.
Right.
True.
Holy cow. But then I'm like, hello, people. If we know who God is, he's all knowing and omniscient and all loving. Hopefully he understands that I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
And he can take it, right?
And he already
because if
knows.
and he already knows.
Yeah.
Then I'm a liar if I'm saying anything other than that.
That's right.
And then that's the
He already knows our heart
too.
Right. And then you're giving a false testimony about how you're actually feeling and how you're actually doing when I think, again, if I'm a mom, right? Well, I am a mom and my daughter is mad at me because I've grounded her or I've done something to
embarrass her or whatever.
Like she's gonna be mad at me and I'm gonna know that and I'm still gonna love her. And I think God is the same way. He knows that you're mad, but he loves you anyway. And that relationship is not going to change, right? He's our father.
Agreed.
Yeah, like that relationship isn't going to change. But I think that's really interesting that, again, I think there's people that judge all the time and whether they have been through a loss or not, maybe their loss was different than your loss. I do remember being young and at one point my dad and I were in a fight and I was like, I lost my mom, and he goes, I lost my wife, and neither one of us could relate to the other.
Right. Yep.
You're both grieving, just not in the same way. So it's very true. And Sharon, you brought up a good point before when you said that you felt like you were you felt like you were in a clear balloon.
Right.
You were outside of yourself.
Right.
You could see everybody and everybody could see in.
Right. It felt like I felt trapped. Like I'm in this different world inside that balloon and everybody's just going on their little happy way. And here I'm stuck in this tight balloon and I can't get out and I'm punching on it. Don't you see how I'm hurting? This and that. And I sit there and I think about Debbie, that I'm just so thankful for her because unfortunately she's in my balloon. And I feel like we get each other and I can be just who I am and not have to fake it till I make it. And it's just so freeing. And her and I've had, I don't know if you call it ground rules or whatever, but we both gave each other grace that if we don't feel like picking up the phone or answering a text or this and that. So here I've known Debbie for 7-8 years now, and I consider her a sister, a best friend, just because our relationship's different than anything I've ever had with anybody, because she totally gets me and I totally get her. And then even the Bible study girls, just realizing I can be myself with this group is incredible.
Yeah, it's sacred. And I think that's probably, several reasons why we're doing this, to make people that maybe are feeling this way have some validation for themselves, because so often, it goes back to, oh, but you used to be this and you used to be that, and you should be happy and Bible verses, and you have God and all these things. I'm like, yeah, but I still feel like garbage. I still am mad. I feel like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And, not having known Sharon, like I knew who Sharon was before and we talked about that, but like the friendships that I had, and I don't want my friends to understand it. I do not want them to, because it's a horrible place to be. But then also not knowing what it feels like. You feel, I could have been in a room with 20 people and I feel very alone because nobody knows what's going inside of me. And then so I meet Sharon and I'm like, oh my gosh, someone that actually gets it.
Right.
And so a lot of my other relationships are not the same anymore, just because different things in our lives have happened. And that's, it's something I have to deal with, and I have to know when I can talk and when I can't. And Sharon's always like, Debbie, and I'm like, I know. And it's not to be insulting to anybody else. It's not. We just have different experiences, and if I didn't have Sharon, I don't know where I'd be, honestly.
Yeah.
We talk about read the room.
Read the room. Yeah.
Read the conversation.
Yeah.
Debbie, she'll tell me something. I'm like, just call me. Because we're very honest with each other.
Right.
And I really don't get my feelings hurt, even when you make fun of me all the time.
All the time.
Well, I give it back to you. I don't think I'm as good as you are, but.
Well, no, so we can still be ourselves completely with each other, which thank God for that. And obviously in all of this garbage, that's a blessing.
Agreed.
Yeah. And now you guys at least have each other, and you guys have a bond that nobody else really has,
And a weird connection where we'll think the same things or be praying about stuff. It's just very bizarre. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I guess it is cool, not kind of.
But I also feel like that was a God thing.
Absolutely.
God placed you guys in each other's lives for a reason, so that you do have that person to fall back on and say, like, I'm just having a crappy day.
Right. Yeah, because it could come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, we know things that are coming up, dates and events and holidays, and where other people just don't
have that same reaction or that same like gut feeling of, oh gosh, this is, coming up. And you guys are, acutely in tune as to what's going on with each other, which I think is really special. So although like other relationships have fallen off, you guys have actually created a stronger bond with each other.
Definitely.
And it's funny because you weren't friends. You knew of each other, but you weren't friends before.
Right.
We had some of the same friends, which was bizarre.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. And I think that, that's another way that God, had a hand in how this all played out. And it's been, how many years now?
May 27th will be 9 years.
9 years.
I don't know how, because that's a whole other segment I think we need to talk about, with time and
goes by so
and
fast.
All the weird things that come with
time-space continuum.
Yes.
That I don't understand.
Yes.
So fast. Like mine will be 10 years, which is
how, because at times I feel like it was last week, and then other times I'm like, wait a second.
What day is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, because I think about that. I was like, what day is it?
Yeah.
But it does seem like time goes by fast. And anyway, so that's how it feels.
Yeah. I guess what we really want people to know is, there are ways to still let people know that you're thinking about them. So, Debbie, when I didn't know what to say to you, and sometimes even still, I'll just send you a heart emoji. And you know that I'm thinking about you, and whether or not you reply back with a heart emoji, it could be days later, or it could be, right away. You still know that I'm thinking about you, and that's good enough.
Those were the best ones, honestly, because, and I hate to say this, but when people would send Bible verses and stuff like that at the time, it just felt, I had guilt. Like, I'm not feeling it. I'm angry at God. And now you're sending me a Bible verse. And now I feel guilty that I'm angry. And too many words would, again, same thing. So just that made me feel loved and felt like people understand. There's nothing you can say. There's literally nothing you could say that makes it better. And the fact that you're just thinking about me, and that was simple. Those are the ones that I like the best. That's my thought anyway.
I feel the same way. And I was thinking, no words.
Yes.
Sometimes I would write that to somebody, no words. If I heard something happen, emoji, just no song lyrics.
Yeah.
No scriptures, especially as far as me, and I think Debbie and I've talked about this. I struggled with my faith after this, just because of how it happened, what happened, and all of that. And so that was not helpful. It just made me feel guilty. I'm not saying never send a scripture. I'm just saying at that time that wasn't helpful for me.
Right.
So I don't want if somebody's listening out here, I don't want you to feel like you're a terrible Christian if that bothers you. Music is extremely hard, still is, because John Michael was a drummer and he played at churches everywhere, and music was very important to him, and I used to love it. And so I'm little by little listening to certain things, but it's still very difficult.
So I guess the takeaway here is leave a heart to those who you know are struggling. Thank you for listening of What's Good About Grief podcast. I'm April.
Debbie, Sharon.
We'll see you next episode.